So I'll open, if anybody have a questions, you can shoot. We'll do a little bit of question and answer, then after we'll do the short meditation. So, any questions? Don't feel shy, just go ahead.
This morning, you used an example of a flower and looking at the flower and arising. I thought what you were saying was somehow, I can't get my notes, your words. Anyway, I thought you were saying that you could look at the flower and you could it would arise, Mahamudra state could arise from looking at a flower, but yesterday, and the usual Galupa version is using your eye sense consciousness is a lower consciousness, and it doesn't lead to anything.
Okay.
So I wondered where I...
When you asked this question, it just what immediately it came in my mind. One time, Rinpoche, Rinpoche came to Portland and is giving teaching, and I have one student who is quite intelligent, but same time, due to his own ego, because he's not Yakin, he wants to digest and understand and everything, that kind of things. So basically, you have to listen through, not by your ear, listen through your heart. And he said, what that means? Then basically I told him, use your ear just as a path, but basically main thing is what you're listening through is your heart. And he said, again, what that is? He had no idea. He says, and I said, just go and stay. You have to come and just stay there. So anyway, when I say looking, usually what happens is we give the full responsibility for our sense consciousness rather than our kind of like our mental consciousness, just kind of like a following and conclusion and picking up whatever left over by the sense consciousness. Now over here, by looking into the object, of course, it just becomes our sense consciousness as a background rather than it is the front. And that kind of training, once you're able to do that, you are able to see the ultimate nature of the flower. You are able to take out one layer of the obscuration. Even in a philosophical speaking, when you say conventional reality, again, where it's translated in English, conventional reality, and how it's, described in Tibetan language, which is Kunzup Dempa. And it doesn't really, I think it doesn't really capture all the meaning. And one part of the meaning is conventional reality. In Tibetan, when it's a Kunzup Dempa, it have a connotation of that obscuration. It is obscurating. You are just receiving the half truth, not the whole truth. Half truth was obscured. That half is very important truth, which is the ultimate truth. So conventional reality, Kunzup Dempa, has carried that kind of. So obscuration over here in the sense awareness. Like for example, even in the training in the meditation, once individual person go to more, for example, meditated eco pose, or once you get more deeper meditation, sense awareness almost dissolve, and they say like only that meditator have only yimin yiki shepa konayu. Yiki shepa means there's only mental consciousness exist. Sense consciousness kind of like a dissolved. The word we use dissolve, but philosophical speaking, mental consciousness plays one of the cause called dakin. Tibetan words, dakin. Dakin means anyway. And anyway, that kind of, when the individual have a strong samadhi and a concentration, and when the meditation comes very into a non-dual experience or meditated eco pose, sense awareness is dissolved, basically. Even in meditation training, where there is a loss of some kind of going beyond the sense awareness. Did I answer that question? Or I just went my own way?
After you do these meditations and you understand emptiness and appearance, then when you look at the flower, that Mahamudra arises, because just to see the flower, you already see the emptiness there too. And that's why it's not like you're meditating on the flower.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was trying to test. Right? You said that
though. No, it came liberally. You give some commentary and texture on that. Let me think about it. In another sense, this afternoon we talk, the flower itself becomes a witness of emptiness. Okay? So, now that's just the key thing. If you're able to transform flower itself, the witness of an empty, of an inherent existence of a flower. First question is, are you able to see through that? One time, one person said, "Can you laugh through your eye?" I said, like, what? Laugh through eye. So sometimes we can see people smile in from their eye. And similarly, anyway, just trying to distracting you. Basically, that process, through the meditation process, basically dissolving the dependent and origination into the flower, and then flower becoming witness of an emptiness of a flower. So we have to inject that dependent origination onto the flower. So then yes, first training, meditation, and based on that kind of purification, wisdom purification, then becomes, by seeing flower, becomes witness of emptiness of a flower. Then, even more further, what to prove and what to witness is not different. Okay, so, it's like a stretch, and suddenly it's everything in the one rather than everything in separate and inherent. So dependent origination, the flower, the emptiness of flower, no separation. So yes, lots of meditation.
So that emotions can be a cushion to transformation.
So today, whatever you people are going to ask me, you say these things, I have to accept because I say so much. Although I don't remember I say that, but I'll accept.
Now you just have to explain it.
Yeah. Now, there's a really good Lojong test. Oh, usually what happens, most of you have seen 7-point of mind training, 8 versus mind training, and these are the popular ones. But there's usually Lojong Gyatsara means 100 mind training, basically collection of a mind training. And this, I think, really good translation done by Tuten Jimpa, his honest translation. There's a mind training collection. And into that collection, mind training collection, there's a transformation of the pain and joy into the path. Kiduk Lamkir. And if you look for that specific text, it have a really good, it have a both Sutrayan approach and a Tantrian approach also. It's really gives you some, usually, transformation of a, 3 kayas, on a, meditation in the 3 kaya usually comes in the tantric sadhanas. But in this Lojong mind training, transformation of a joy and pain into the path. It's not very long, very like 2 pages, but it have this kind of very, it gives you a step-by-step way to meditate. Then there's also in that Lojong training, same collection, you have a Nyemong Lamkir, means transformation, Lojong training in a transformation, all the affliction into the path. That is also in particularly in that training, it gives you the circumstances that you face in your life, and then it doesn't go as a detail, but as a general negative circumstances and the positive circumstances. But any kind of those circumstances, we have this kind of habit of reacting or exciting. So anyway, both cases is unbalanced. So there's this kind of like a thought transformation, which is also very, very beautifully thought transformation. Then in the same collection, Lojong Gyatsa, in that collection, leveling out all the conceptual thoughts. Lojong Tokpa Burjum. Lojong Tokpa Burjum means, Tokpa means the conceptual mind, and Burjum means like leveling out. And in that Lojong training, basically, for example, sometimes, although in the West, when people get kind of like disappointed or depressed, then there's a tendency to go to shopping, isn't it? That I heard it anyway.
Retail therapy in England.
Retail therapy. What happened is, I have one long story. These days, these digital cameras are so handy. You don't have to print. You can have lots of pictures. Then, if you don't want, you can delete, and it's really handy. And all the time, I built up in my house, I should buy one digital camera. I should buy one digital camera, particularly because I was traveling a lot, and I really wanted to take picture from airplane. That's one of my, things that I want to do it before I die. So anyway, I was kind of building up the craving for the digital camera. And one day, okay, I should go and buy. So I went one of the shopping malls and then came to look at it. And then said, "Do really I need this?" Then I struggled. Then I dropped it. I didn't buy it. And I went back, and I did several times like that. Built up the craving. Then came there. Then I said, "Really, I want this? To really?" Then go back and forth. But at the final, I bought more than digital camera. I bought camcorder, the video camera, quite an expensive one, and then I bought it and satisfied for a few moments. Then anytime I see that video camera, I say how many money I wasted. Huh? Yes. So anyway, but that time my mind was quite okay. I wasn't going like. So anyway, just joking. So here this Lojong Tokpa Burjum, the leveling out the thought training in the leveling out the conceptual mind. This is a the reason I was talking about that is, sometimes you buy things and the stuff in your house, too many things. So, sometimes you engage in a cleaning once you make your environment very neat. Instead of buying, if you clean, can be another way to, train or heal. So in a similar way, this Lojong training, leveling out the conceptual thoughts, is similarly like that. You're not able, before having wisdom realizing emptiness, you're not able to eliminate all the emotions and thought process is go through. But somehow this leveling out the conceptual thoughts, this Lojong training, it gives a very simple step, way to put all your energy. Instead of just abusing your energy, just way to put it, in a simple steps. In the beginning of that Lojong training, tells, don't waste your energy. Basically put your energy into one inspiration. So way, once you're able to kind of like organize. In simple words, it's kind of like organizing your thought process and simplifying your thought process. It becomes powerful through this. Takes a lot of. It will transform a lot of your experiences, emotions, and so on and so forth. So I will tell you to buy that text and memorize these three. Yeah, and it's really good, Lojong, which is well translated. I think you should have. It's very, very, very good. I'm not trying to becoming publicizing to Jinpa's book, but anyway, it's really good.
In my meditation practice, I haven't developed Chine, but have certain levels of concentration depending on how long I'm practicing or the external environment or this and that. And so I guess my question is twofold: is what level of concentration should I develop before I start searching for the Mahamudra? Before I start this sort of curious exploration of where is this object that I'm looking for? And then the second part of the question is, can you say more about the pitfalls of false objects that I might find, that I could trick myself into thinking that, oh, I found the Mahamudra, and you know, so that I don't take it wrong. So yeah.
Okay. You know, the question will be like, what will be the kind of like the measure that it qualify to go next step, your concentration? This will be, you know, I think in a two area that you can look at it. You know, once you fall in once the karmic result comes very powerful, you know, that's kind of like a very tense experience when you go through, is still you are able to stay without, you know, kind of like falling into the wave of the karmic results, but at least to mind to some level of a strength into experience, joyful experience or painful experience. I mean, like, it still can affect, but in a certain instance that you don't break down. You know, you're able to kind of formed, you know, even you go to meditation, even you're trying to put your, you know, in the background is in a kind of trauma, is a kind of tense, but still you are able to some level of a concentration and clarity into your meditation. I think that is the right moment. And of course, to move the next step, what I will say, you know, whatever you're going to, you know, basically yoga over concentration and yoga over free over elaboration, you know, which has become the second stage, where you really to look into not just conventional nature of mind, but more further step, the ultimate nature of your mind. Now, the second question, how we know that you found the right one, even, you know, how we know that's, in that kind of case, you know, ultimately you are your teacher, you are your protector, you are your guidance. But in some sense, you know, we need to live and rely on an authoritative source, okay? And relying on a special instructions that you can, you know, I think you have to have a basically some individual who have gone through such a training, and that kind of like a just checking, you know, just checking, and that have to be not necessarily, you know, next to all the time next to you, but anyway, that kind of accessible, you know, as we talked yesterday, the teachers, they only have he will give only twice a month, that you have a very short time, it's not back and forth in one kind of. So anyway, that kind of, if you are really, you know, want to, you know, go more further, and I think that kind of spiritual guidance, or your own study, your own kind of research, and finally, ultimate truth itself is it doesn't exist as an ultimate. So, ultimate truth is a relative truth. Relatively exists. Nothing ultimately exists. So here that comes how we know one other way to your object of discovering of a nature of mind is really the true, or you're just creating, is basically one to look at it into through that meditation, how it reduce or minimize your negative afflictions. If that does the job of a wisdom, that's good enough, I think. So that's the one. There's a gomtak nyamo chungwa, the Tibetan word they call, or gomtak nyamo chungwa. Gom means the meditation. The sign of a meditation, that individual have a less confusion and afflictions. So the answer will come through within your own experience rather than looking answer from somebody. But for the staying onto the ultimate answer will be that, as I mentioned earlier, you are your own protector and the teacher. So ultimate answer will be there. But to creating kind of positive condition, also you having some kind of that meditation instructor or teacher or something like that. So I think that's not the fundamental final answer you can get it. I think that it comes to it been too long answer? Okay.
It reminds me of, there was an example of a painted ego and the painter ego.
Mm-hmm.
That might be an example of when you think you've got the right thing, but you didn't get something else.
Yeah. That we do quite often. Yeah. When I was small, we have to do recitation evening, and in Sarah there's not that much light and it's kind of dark, and I have to do recitation outside. And doing my recitation outside, sometimes I see those bush kind of moving, then suddenly they're becoming some kind of person, and the fear and all that kind of things. So the famous which one is the Milarepas. I think while he was in the cave, when he was doing his meditation, there's some kind of like a ghost or some kind of spirit kind of manifest and trying to disturb Milarepa's meditation. And basically Milarepa says, my own ego and my own conceptuals are creating these old spirits. That is nothing, that something is there. So usually if lojong trainings, when you at the same time side by side reading lots of autobiography of Milarepas and Marpas and those great Mahasiddhas, and also it is be very helpful to creating method aspect of a spiritual path. Those kind of basically it builds you a lot of inspiration. At the end of the day, inspiration really it counts, not so much about the action itself and the progress able to make in the spiritual path through the inspiration rather than action itself all the time. It's not so much about the doing things. Inspirations play the very important role to establishing the foundation, the motivation and the intentions. So So anyway, that's it. We'll stop here the question answer part. So basically, at this moment, we'll do a short. The exercise will be watching the thought. And whatever issue is going on in your life, in personal life, let's bring that in the front of you and non-engaging, none kind of like a fabricating. Let's try to do that for 10 minutes. Okay?